Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to another fun-filled episode of the Crypto Maniacs Podcast, talking all things crypto, life in general too, a few rants here and there. You never know what might come across your speakers during the next hour or so. I'm John Go. I like long walks on the beach, Yanni CDs. That's the wrong intro. Damn, I thought we were doing it for the only Leos thing. No, that's the wrong one.
No,
Oh,
you're reading your Tinder account again.
yeah, no doubt, man. No, the wrong one, Jongo. And this is Task. This is Task.
And did you actually say Yanni CDs? And people focus on the Yanni, but CDs? What
CDs,
year
yeah.
are you from?
Well, I also got 8 tracks hidden somewhere.
Almost.
Yeah, and so I'm John Go. I'm dated, as you can see, and this is Taskmaster 4450, not 4451 or 4449 4450. Hello, sir. It's been a whole 48 hours since we spoke last. How's
47
life?
technically.
47 technically, yes. How's life, man? The hurricane didn't get you, apparently.
No, I was outside the zone, so the wind blew throughout most of the night, which made sleeping difficult because it was loud. But other than that, some water. But we didn't get hit where I'm at, so real bad.
Well, it's good. It's good to hear, man. You're not like searching for cell signal to do the show again, so that's good.
Yeah.
Hello, tokenized. Welcome. As you can see, I am in the comforts of my home office. I made it back home. I'm here till at least Sunday. Maybe sooner, not totally sure, but at least Sunday. Might be a little bit later. We don't know yet, but it's exciting to be home. A task before we jumped on camera, he was like, you should go back into your truck because it's more quiet in the truck. Because as soon as he got here, he heard the kids screaming, and it's all sorts of fun here. But I wouldn't have it any other way, right? Task keeps you young. No.
My daughter turned 29 last week. What the hell do I know about young?
Yeah, my oldest is 22. So, yeah. Or 21. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's 22. August. Yeah, he just turned 22. 2001 he was born. So 22.
Depends on when his birthday is, but yes.
August 2nd is his birthday.
Yeah, then he turned 22.
Yeah, there you go. See, I keep up on this stuff. Anyways, hello, John. Welcome. Yeah, Vim isn't working. Apparently, rumor is that they'll be back next week. They had some issues with their host, and they should be back next week. We're hoping. So we are relegated to the Web 2 world tonight on the stream, but the recording will be on 3Speak. We will be on 3Speak. We love us some 3Speak. I speak, you speak. We all speak for 3Speak. You like that?
No, and if Leo Finance gets their Threadcast edition set up by HiveFest, we might be able to stream through Threadcast, or at least have a pop-up window where people can be in the Threadcast and watching the show.
Oh, they're teasing. Are they teasing or what? Lots of things are happening.
That they're trying to get that implemented for HiveFest, but no guarantees. But they're trying to do
that. Before we jump in, we didn't get a ton of questions today. Lots of questions on Tuesday, but we didn't get a ton yet. So if you guys are on Leo Threads, make sure you go over to Task's account. He's got the Threadcast going. If you have my account there, I have a link to Task's Threadcast for the show. So we will. You don't even need to refresh now because of the amazing new technology that's been implemented. Which is Cal actually asked about that, what our opinions are on it. But before we dive in, man, just checking in on you, like your pulse. I woke up today again, being home. It was very weird for me. I actually paid attention to what was going on in crypto today. And people, again, lost their mind that crypto went like sub 27,000. And it's almost like you read Twitter for like crypto news. And this is the rinse and repeat news cycle on Twitter. The price of Bitcoin, what Binance and Coinbase are doing, an update on FTX, and then let's throw in some Gary Gensler here and there. That seems to be the cycle of crypto news on crypto Twitter. Did I miss anything, or am I pretty much nailing it there for today's news?
Yeah, I mean that's what the doom and gloomers are going to promote, and I mean, it's crypto is the bond market smart money, stock market stupid money, and crypto's moronic money, and so we just have a bunch of morons. It's it's the SEC delayed the decision on more ETFs applications. Gee, there's no a shock.
That's
I mean,
shocking. Yeah.
people thought they were going to approve it. They weren't. Uh, it's just all kinds of. I mean, the funny thing is the stuff they want is only going to help Wall Street hijack Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's all it's going to do. So, the big news to me is Elon sitting now on 7 payment licenses, or 7 states have given Twitter or X payment licenses, money transfer licenses, I guess they're called. And that allows him to deal in fiat and digital assets. So Twitter ultimately could become another Coinbase if they want. In addition to go after PayPal. And I mean, this is just the start. So to me, that Lufthansa is putting together a reward program and they're going to use Polygon. To me, that's the news, because that's really where the stuff is happening, and what PayPal is doing. And, whether you like these entities or not, whether you like centralized corporations or not, they're going to come into this space, and they actually are an ally because, PayPal especially is probably going to be in the crosshairs of the regulators and Gensler here at some point. Well, PayPal has enough money and clout to fight back. I mean, you thought Ripple or Coinbase, they're nothing compared to PayPal. I mean, PayPal's a much bigger company,
Right.
much bigger market cap. So, they'll be able to roll up their sleeves and really go to battle with the SEC over their stablecoin. And, these are things that can take place, divert the attention while we're building. And, we talk about community, but Hive builds a community. People should be using their business mindset and bringing it to Hive. Whereas Bitcoin and Ethereum, their community is on Twitter talking about the price of Bitcoin and the price of Ethereum.
Yeah. So, AKA, I didn't miss much.
No, I mean, it's, Bitcoin's probably going to bounce around for the rest of the year. It's certainly risk on, is, as I've been talking about for a year. When risk on is on, things will take off, but risk on is not on. I mean, you look at the high flying, high PE, high tech stuff like Tesla, that's stalled out. So we're not there yet. People are fearful. People are nervous. The Fed's doing their stuff. Powell's, at Jackson Hole saying stupid shit. You got the conflict in Europe with Ukraine and the neocons looking like they want World War III. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff out there. Germany's probably in a recession. China's going deflationary. There's a lot of reason to have your antennas up and say things could be tough for a little while longer. And crypto is not going to run with all that shit going on. Contrary to Bitcoin maxis who talk about hedge and, Bitcoin is not a safe haven. Bitcoin is a risk-on asset, probably one of the biggest risk-on assets there is. And until that sentiment takes over the market, you're going to have the price is going to struggle.
There you go. Dive into the questions. You good to go for that?
Sure.
The issue is we have split questions. Some people went to your post and asked the questions. Some people went to my post and asked the questions. But
yeah, that's how they usually do it. When
Well,
you when you rethread or when you put a thread out, they just ask right there.
yeah.
Same thing
Well,
happened.
I'm not even going to share this stream because it'll the thread because it'll get too confusing here. But I'll read them off here while we're going. So we'll go through your threads first, and of course, Nifty starts us off with the question of all questions: what's it like being the hottest dudes on the blockchain?
I wouldn't know. I mean, it's we're the baldest dudes on
Baldest,
the
yeah.
blockchains, but I don't know. Thank you for that, Nifty, and
Appreciate it. Yes.
please DM me with your phone number, and I'm free next Friday night. You know, but anyway, it's it's tough being us, but
Yes,
maybe not
definitely.
because of our looks. There may be other reasons that cause that.
I dance really well. That's why people watch me. Yes.
Well, I mean, it's if they ever remake Staying Alive, I mean, Travolta's up there in years.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe you could step in, and
Yeah.
you said you have your 8 tracks, so
I got my
probably have
tracks.
your do you have your collar your button down shirt with the
Yes.
big collars, and
Yep.
then that
Yep.
you know
Bell bottoms made a
and you have
comeback
it
in the
unbuttoned down to your belly button, then with your long gold chains, and
Yep. Yeah. And the curly chest hair.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
got
well,
yeah,
that
definitely.
that was the paisans, and
The-
yeah, they all had that, and they had the Grizzly Adams chest, the furry bush, and
It's good.
yeah,
It's great. Yeah, it's perfect.
yeah, it's
Uh,
that was the 70s,
good
or
decade.
the Latinos did that too.
Good decade. Um, Sad Cry wants to know if we're live yet.
No,
No.
we pre-record these and then put them up.
Yeah. Cal's got two questions here, but this is a perfect segue into the first one, and then we'll go to his first one. But he said, when are you going to put a start time on your thread? I never know when you guys actually go live. I would say it's my fault, but I would rather blame you for not telling me each time. So,
he does have a point. You're right, Cal. I should put a start time on there. But see, there's a difference. If we put a start time on there, we actually start at that time or close to it.
ooh,
Unlike you, who you
ooh.
start your AMAs like an hour either way of the start time. So,
Them fighting words.
yes, well,
There you go. Yeah. But yes, 8 p.m. usually is when we start. 8 p.m. Eastern. And Tokenai says, I just realized I was on the wrong threadcast, and he hasn't even drank today yet.
well, maybe that was the problem if he was drinking before.
Exactly. Yeah, you're on top of your game when you're drinking the Heineken, sir. I mean,
yeah. Things moved around when he, get a couple beers in you and things look normal.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. How do you guys like the new Threadcast feature? This is from Cal again. I have been having so much fun each time we've done one. I find the engagement to be amazing. Well, it's fantastic if we got the crowds that the AMA does, but holy moly, donut shop, what do we got to do, Task? Like, but who do we have to bribe here for people to, I used to this is what I used to have to do. This is, back in the day on the previous blockchain that shall remain nameless, I used to give out SBI tokens for people that ask questions. I was literally telling people we'll upvote the comments. That was just whatever. No one really cared. But if I said I'd give you an SBI token, I'd get 20 comments easy every single time.
Well, the biggest problem we have is the time, because a lot of the AMA is Nigerians, and it's like 1 a.m. over there. So, and we're totally excluding the Europeans too, the Western Europeans, that is. So, it's obviously that has something to do with it. I mean, more people are going to tune into the AMA because Cal sometimes gives out some pertinent information. We're just two ball guys on camera.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. So there you go, Nifty. Actually, the hottest guys on the blockchains it's obviously Scaredy Cat and Cal, because they get
Yeah,
the.
well, Scaredy Cat might have hair that rivals Ned.
Mm,
He might do that.
it's impressive. It's definitely impressive.
It is
It's
it's impressive hair.
yeah.
Cal's isn't impressive. I noticed today. I even threaded about Cal has too much hair though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you should like donate some to to some of us follically challenged.
Yeah,
That'd be.
somebody that needs to give him a nice crew cut. Take the razors to him. Maybe that should be something that we do. On a live on air shaving of Cal's head,
Yeah,
and everybody throws in a little bit of Leo, and then have a contest, and the winner gets whatever Leo's in the pot.
I like
I
it.
think that would be good.
A live head shaving.
Yeah.
I like it.
Cal didn't stick around in college, so he missed all that, the Hazen Fund and stuff.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
we'll have to give it to him.
Yeah, perfect. Just the way it should be. I like it. But yeah, he wants to know what we think of the Threadcast. I mean, I love it. It's great. I'm not sitting here pressing refresh. I know that Tokenize has been on the Threadcast now because it refreshes and there's the new comments. So you can see once this, once Threadcast really starts popping and different shows are getting the audiences like the AMA does, and you have hundreds and hundreds, the engagement will be through the roof. It'll be fantastic. Personally,
Yeah.
I love being able to upvote people. Like even Sad Cry that said, "When is it live yet?" I literally upvoted it because I want to reward.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to. Again, we're sitting here saying it doesn't have to be War and Peace if you're doing threads. So you know what? I'm going to reward non-War and Peace stuff, like just engagement. I want to reward it. So
Yeah.
Hello, Lisa.
Threadcasts are a major feature of threads. I think there's two things we need. Number one, I've said from day one, we need a Threadcast schedule, something on a page where, I can go and set up the Threadcast for an 8 o'clock show, state it's an 8 o'clock show. So Cal doesn't write shit in the comment section like, what time does it start? He will see the Threadcast as start time 8 o'clock. And then, you can scroll through and see what's there. Oh, there's an EPL game. Oh, there's the Lakers versus the Celtics. And I want to see that or whatever. It's Sunday. The Bills are playing the Jets at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I want to be on that Threadcast. So that's one thing. And the second thing, this was actually Nomad Soul brought it up. The cool thing about Threadcast now, and we had this problem on the AMA that Dan did with Eric and Cal yesterday. And what happens is things get so hot and heavy, you get engagement, but the questions get lost, and it gets tough to find stuff, and it's constantly refreshing. So Eric had a great idea about removing all of the fluff. And by fluff, I mean, all the stuff tied to the thread. He said other than like rewards, and I'm like, you don't even need the rewards. It's just like, make it like a Twitch feed where it's just username and what they write. And then if it's a question, have it maybe in a different color, have it highlighted. So that way you as the broadcast administrator or the one on air, you can read through and then easily pull out the questions.
You know what you can do? Just random thoughts. You could do like super chat that
I was going to say like a super chat that sticks out.
Right, but like you could use your Leo for it. And so if you say you want this question to show up, it turns a different color, whatever. It doesn't cost one Leo. You're not doing it.
I would make it for HBD. I would make it HBD.
I know, but I'm thinking more people, they will have liquid Leo if they're using threads.
Doesn't matter. You don't devalue the value capture token by saying give it to us as payments or give it away as payments. That's not how you get people to hold your token. Get your people to hold your token saying this thing's going to be worth 100 times the money 6 months from now than it is today, and you're a horse's ass if you give it to anybody.
But you don't think that would like for ease of use purposes? Because a lot of times with this tipping thing, like we've had the ability to tip on Peak D for years now. I've
Nobody,
gotten maybe
nobody
grand
uses
total of
tipping,
10
but I
tops,
see, and
you know?
tying in a super chat, that makes sense because now you're tying in an added value where it's like I want to get my question recognized. I mean, I I don't know if the utility versus the headaches of building it
Right,
equal out, because at this time, I mean, let's be honest, how many of us hold AMAs where there's going to be a lot of super chat, oh, I want my question answered on air.
right,
Everybody says that. That's why I ask Cal the question, because I want him to answer it on air, and
right,
I don't want to have to pay him for it. So I mean, but again, thinking into the future, having that feature, if it's not too hard to build,
right,
absolutely, I think build it in. Um, but I'm very consistent with the view. I don't think you use Leo for payments for shit. Subscriptions, no, don't use Leo for payments because again, if you're saying this is going to be worth something, and this is the problem with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going to 100x and be, well, 100x, but let's say it's going to be 100 grand, that's four times the money. I'd be a horse's ass to use it to buy a cup of coffee today. I'd be a
right.
horse's ass to buy a car with it. I'd be a horse ass to buy anything with it because it's going to go up four times or 10 times or whatever people are claiming. And, I don't necessarily think they're wrong that it's going to happen, that it's not going to happen. I think it might.
Mhm.
So, that's why we have the HBD and that's why we have the stable coin. And that's why we have something that's pegged to be a unit of account, pegged to a unit of account to be a medium of exchange. And that's what it's for. And I think that's what I mean, we had the discussion about the 20% APR. This is what adds the utility to HBD. This
Mm.
is what incentivizes people to hold HBD liquid because they might need it. And, everybody's concerned. Well, if there's all this HBD out there, then people are converted to Hive and all that other shit. And now the amount of Hive goes up 100,000. And as I said on the CTT broadcast last week, the goal is to get like a gambling app using HBD. So Dan wants to go and get involved in a high stakes game on Sunday afternoon. Well, he's going to keep 5K or 3K or
Right, right,
10K or whatever he uses in his wallet, not because he's earning 20% APR, not because he's getting 3%, not because he's getting return. He keeps it in there because if on Sunday afternoon all of a sudden he sees, oh, there's a poker game I want to get into, he needs the money. And it's the same thing if you're involved in some type of football league. Sunday rolls around and you want to put up 100 HBD as a bet, you need that HBD. It's like, well, I got to wait 3 days to get it out of savings. No, you keep it liquid because you're going to use it. That's what they do in Sucre. They keep it liquid because they go and buy, food, or they go buy lunch, or they go do whatever with it.
mm,
Um, you know, and yes, people take their dollars, take US dollars, Canadian dollars, they go get certificates of deposit. They go lock them up for 6 months for a bigger APR. But a lot more of our money's kept in a checking account or whatever type of account because we have bills to pay. We need the
right,
cash.
yeah,
The electric bill comes due. So,
right,
that's my thoughts. But, getting back to the Threadcast, I think this is such a unique feature to Hive, the engagement. As more people, I mean, the engagement's going to go through the roof. They just need to keep adding features and keep thinking of this as a centralized feature,
mhm,
a paramount feature of the network. Now, don't forget, it's not only Threadcast. If you notice, every thread has the same functionality. So by using the Threadcast, the only difference is by using the Threadcast tag, the default of the comments is in reverse order. It's newest instead of oldest. But every thread automatically does, if you turn on the refresh,
yeah, it's
it will
newest,
refresh. So
yeah,
you could set it for a container. I mean, container is probably a pretty shitty name, but literally we could use it like Discord, Django. You and I could get together. We could open up a thread and you and I could have a discussion about online business.
right,
And
yeah,
anybody could join in and we could just keep going back and forth, commenting on each other and adding new comments, and three or four of us in the room in the thread talking. and we could do that for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just like Discord.
Yeah.
You know, we can do that around cryptocurrency. You can do that around, anything. You can do it around. Well, your Sunday sports show is a threadcast because you have a broadcast, but you could do that around, anything. I mean, it's whatever.
Oh, the football. The football is just the no-brainer.
Yeah, but that's usually a threadcast because it's tied to a broadcast. And I'm trying to even think with football, NFL football. If it was the draft, well, you're probably watching the draft. It's just. But if you want to just get in there on a Tuesday afternoon and talk football, or get in on a Monday morning and talk about the Sunday games, and it's like,
right.
Gee, John, the Browns really looked good yesterday, and the Jets really shit the bed against the Colts. I mean, and you could just have this conversation. Oh my God, did you see that injury to the Commodores quarterback, whatever the fuck they're called?
The Commodores.
Well, what the hell's their?
The Commanders. Commodores. I was like, where's Lionel Richie, man? Come on.
But aren't they changing their name? Well, shit, I don't think they've won since guys had afros. I mean, since John Riggins was out there with his big old fro, and so I don't think the Redskins have won since back then. Well, Dexter Manley was bald, but so I mean that's the value of Threadcast. That's the value. It's starting to really take on the feel that we could say, why are you on Discord? Because we can put a lot of the same stuff and real-time communication in threads.
Yeah. Brilliant stuff. Let me just double check here. Tokenize. He wants to know the thread will be great in real time so he can see when the Falcons blow another lead. Isn't he a Saints guy though? Is that just a little bit?
That may be taking a jab at his.
Take a jab at the Dirty Birds. Okay.
Yeah, at well, they're pretty close geographically. That's it, and they're in the same conference. So
just across the bayou.
Yeah. So that's kind of like you taking a jab at the Patriots. You'll never pass up an opportunity.
Any chance I get, don't worry.
Now, I will say, because I don't have any skin to fight again with the Bills and the Patriots. I have no skin in this fight. I don't really care. I laugh at both of you. But
fine.
I'm really going to laugh at both of you. I'm probably going to get mean about it if you guys, if either of you let the Jets win the division. That will be, that's almost a crime against humanity if you guys let the Jets win the division.
Okay. The Bills are flying under the radar this season. It's just the way we like it. Because apparently all the pundits have already said that the Jets and the Dolphins are going to be 1 and 2 in the AFC East.
I did see, you can't tell much from the Dolphins preseason, any preseason games, but the Dolphins did look pretty good.
Oh, they're a really good team. Dolphins and the Jets, both.
And they
Jets
got a good
O-line is sorry.
They got a good coach. The Dolphins.
Yeah, McDaniels.
And maybe and Tua's he's an impressive quarterback.
I like Tua.
If he doesn't get his head dinged, but he's impressive. He's got skills.
Yeah, out of all the AFC East teams, I dislike the Dolphins the least. Like Patriots are king. Patriots are scum of the earth.
I've been in Florida too long, and I've been hearing about the Dolphins, and they're kind of like they're a cock tease.
Because the Dolphins and the Bills have been like obsolete for the past 20 years, right? Pretty much. Like they've been not in the conversation.
Even the Dolphins, when they had Marino, and that was it. One of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and they weren't even a very great team. They were okay, but they were overrated. It's and in Florida, I mean, for years they were the only team worth a damn because the Bucs were the Bucs, and then the Jags came in and they were the Jags.
Yeah,
so,
right. Yeah, there you go.
Tokenize, why'd you get us on this shit?
I know, Tokenize, dude, I got plenty of NFL stuff, don't worry. But Tokenize he tries to right the ship here with this question. I've seen some people asking if Leo has plans to create their own stable coin. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but maybe I'm missing something. What do you guys think? I don't know. I don't think so. Is it on the radar? That's
I haven't heard of anything, but the tendency again, if you're committed to Hive, why the fuck you building a stablecoin? There's a stablecoin, and Leo has already created derivatives off HBD. They got PHBD and BHBD, and so let's say Speak Network rolls out and they do something on there. Just create a another derivative of HBD, SHBD or whatever it is. Um, there it's already there. Use it, build into it, tap into it, and there's the capability to bridge it over. I mean, Leo's building all kinds of bridges, so getting cross chain interoperability is not really a problem for Leo. So I don't see the sense in it.
Yeah.
It gets to the point, and Cal's mentioned this. You and I have talked about it. I don't know if it reflected or played into your decision to pull back, but Splinterland showed the problem of
Too many damn tokens.
trying to provide value to too many tokens at one time. It's very difficult. Now, they may be able to thread the needle. I mean, who knows? And they probably can do it given enough time. But unfortunately, it's going to take a lot of time, and it's going to take a lot of development, and it's going to take a much bigger user base.
Yeah.
So that's why with Leo, I think the decision, I don't speak for the team here, but I think the decision is, for the moment, focus on Leo. Cub, Polycub, they're still out there. They're not abandoned. Part of it is they're waiting for the update to the bridge or whatever, bridge 2.0, whatever it's being called. But focus on Leo to start, build that up, get that on more stable footing, and then you implement the DeFi into the social media and some of that, and then have that value start to filter out. I think that's a decision. And it's another reason why Project Blank did not get its own token. While it was just, okay, we'll just build it into Leo Finance and we'll just use the Leo as the proof of brain.
Good point. Eric Burgoyne says, is Vim down for good or are they coming back? And I saw that with Neo actually on YouTube asked the same thing. No, again, apparently Vim will be back next week. That's the rumor. They've had a lot of issues with their web host. They got some abuse done or something, and the web host is making sure all the ducks are in a row before they come back online. That's the latest from their Discord. So
I got one question. I got a question for Neo. Do you just sit somewhere and scan for every Hive related broadcast? This guy's on every any broadcast
on Twitter,
you go to, there's Neo. Any threadcast you go to, there's
CTT.
Neo.
Yeah, he knows. He's Mr. Social Media.
He shows up on CTT. He shows up at AMAs. He shows up here. The guy's everywhere. It's
and he's living the dream down in Central America too. Just living it.
I don't know where he is in Central America. Some parts
I think he's in Honduras.
Aren't even dreaming.
Guatemala. He's in Guatemala.
Yeah, that might be one of the better Central American nations.
Yeah. There you go. We'll switch over to my Threadcast now. I think we're up to date. Tokenized was saying that Commodores is a better name than Commanders.
I read that when the new owner took over, that one of the things that they're going to do is ultimately change the name.
Yeah. Jumping over to mine, Tokenized says, why is the SEC delaying their decision? If they have a hidden agenda, why would they not just make it happen already? I'm guessing that's for the ETF stuff.
Yeah, probably the spot ETF. I don't know if there's really an agenda per se. I mean, my conclusion is Gensler wants to push this in the hands of Wall Street. The spot ETF, other areas, I think France may or somebody approved one. Hell, Canada, I think, has a spot ETF too. And now I'm reading Hong Kong is looking at implementing one. So, this is don't forget, Gensler may act like a lone wolf, but he's not a lone wolf. He is not operating outside the administration's uh,
Yeah.
parameters. Now, I know Biden is, out to lunch. He's not making any decisions, but there's somebody within the White House who's overseeing this stuff, and that's who Gensler is going to be taking his marching orders from. So the Biden administration has taken a very anti crypto stance. In fact, it appears to be spreading to the Democrats. The Democrats are starting to take a very anti crypto position. And since Biden, a Democrat, is in the White House, all these agencies are under the president. And ultimately, what's happening, in my opinion, is the United States is dropping the ball, screwing the pooch, and they are pushing a lot of this stuff offshore. And as I said on a broadcast a couple of weeks ago, this is not without precedent. This is why London is the center of the forex market, because in the 1970s, the United States dropped the ball, London picked it up, and they became the forex hub. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does the same thing with crypto. And I don't know whether it'll be London. I don't know where it'll be, but somebody will end up being a crypto hub.
Hmm.
And I'm pretty sure it's not going to be within the United States the way the United States is progressing.
We've obviously, it's not just America that has political drama. We got a lot up here too. And the premier who is in charge of the province I live in is very pro crypto. She's actually said that she wants crypto companies to come to Alberta and set up shop.
Mm-hmm.
The main challenger to the prime minister's office, he's a conservative. He's on Twitter all the time, pro Bitcoin, pro crypto, pro. So you have a lot of these Canadian, not only incumbents, but also guys that are young, not necessarily younger, because he's probably about the same age as Justin Trudeau, but maybe a bit younger. But a lot of these guys that are running for office up here, and the lady that's actually in office where I live, they're all pro crypto, because I think they see what you just mentioned. America is pushing this stuff out. They're literally saying, like, we don't want this here. Like, Binance is gone, Coinbase is still around, but how long is that going to be? I mean, it's so hard to do business as a crypto company these days in America. There's the smart countries in the world will be opening their arms up and saying, come and build here, come and build here.
Yeah, and they call me Dan Talks about it because it hit him personally. 10 years ago, he left the United States because
of the
they
poker.
did they did a PayPal deal with him, same as you. It wasn't PayPal, but all of a sudden gambling was overnight illegal in the United States.
Yep.
And so the United States pushed it offshore. And of course, now you watch a broadcast of a baseball game because
it's all
a year
FanDuel and
ago
DraftKings and
it's legal. Yeah, you got DraftKings and all this other stuff.
Stupid.
And so basically what they did is they killed all these small gambling operations and websites, and now it's just DraftKings and whatever the other major players are. So, again, this is not without precedent. And I mean, I live in DeSantis' state. The mayor of Miami, Suarez, who I believe he's a Democrat, but he's pro crypto. He wants Miami to be a crypto hub. I don't know. Maybe Suarez is a Republican. I don't even know. But so there are some pockets. But again, you got the Biden administration's against it, and the Biden administration runs, the SEC, or at least that's under the president's domain. Then you got people like Elizabeth Warren, who is a very powerful senator. She's outright against it, and so this is what the battle is. And then you have the behind the scenes stuff with the banking and the debanking of crypto firms. It's tyranny is what it is, and they're going to do everything they can to lock things down and retain their power, and it's not going to work. Tyranny never works long term, and it's certainly not going to work in crypto because you got El Salvador that has it as legal tender. You got country ABC that says fuck it, we'll become a crypto hub. You got Hong Kong that's saying come here. You might have London that says screw everybody, we're going to take over. And if that happens, well, that just shoots them in the foot, the countries that don't, especially the United States and Canada. And it's kind of like being behind in the internet game. Us in North America, we were pretty quick to the internet game because it was developed here. Yeah. But the Chinese had to play catch up, and they suffered for it. If you have to play catch up in Web3, it's not going to be a fun time.
Good point. Koki, new question here from a member of the Leo Threads community. Do you believe that impossibilities? This is some personal development stuff here, man. Do you believe that impossibilities can be replaced with possibilities by the power of our mind? That's law of attraction stuff, man.
It's the negative Nellies never win. It's
good point.
So, and positive thinking, that doesn't work either. I mean, obviously you have to have positive expectations. If not, you're not going to do anything. So, you got to have the expectation I'm going to end up benching 300 pounds, or I'm going to drop 40 pounds, or I'm going to be able to touch my toes stretching, or I'm going to be able to create a business that does $1 million a year in revenue, or whatever it is that you're going after. But, like the old saying, nobody ever erected a statue for a critic. And I've been following technology for more than 20 years now. And I even did a video about this today, about looking at the future through your present day eyes. And this is why people miss shit, because it's like, oh, that's impossible. It's impossible today.
Right.
But by 2035, this may be very possible. It's so you don't know what type of development will take place between now and then. And it's like, doing this video call, this show in 1995 would have been impossible. Yeah. But in 2023, it's very possible because, we've had 60,000 upgrades to communication systems over the last 25 or 30 years. So, it's like, that's the difference. And so, it's like anything. If you, what's the old saying? If you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, it still takes action. You can't think your way into becoming a millionaire, but if you don't think you're going to become a millionaire, you're probably not. Right. And that's why the negative Nellies, they end up shooting themselves in the foot. You never see major breakthroughs and societal change and stuff from people who are negative. It's always the Elon Musk. It's always the Steve Jobs. It's always the people. I mean, first off, they're driven, they're hardworking, they're pain in the ass to be around, but they have this unwavering belief that they're going to get it done and that they will succeed. And it doesn't matter how many obstacles you throw in their way, they will succeed. And, Dan likes to say that the ride or die. And, he has that mentality. I mean, Hive is going to succeed, or he's going to die trying to make it successful. And that's the difference, and you don't see that with most people. And
it's, I've dealt in that industry for, 20 plus years now, the success, personal development, and entrepreneurial. And the one common thing that is exactly what you said. Over the years, my 20 plus years of doing this online business stuff, negative Nancy's have never won. Never. They've never I could count the amount of times I've had that exact same discussion with people saying, look, negative Nancy's, grumpy Gus's, we called them grumpy Gus's too. They're just what you get your life sucked out of it when you're around that stuff. You're around it, and this is where I believe in some of that in your mind stuff. Not the I'm a millionaire, I'm thinking about it, and it's going to materialize in my hand. No, it's if you're around good people that are positive, that are moving forward, that are building, that are builders, that are content creators, that are actually living and breathing and taking action every day, it can't help but rub off on you. Now, if you're around people that are, the sky is falling and grumpy, guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna be filled with
what's most of social media?
Exactly. Just like Neo said, 95% of it is all clown world stuff. He's right.
Right.
It's
He's right.
It's crazy.
And you look at to go into the sports analogy, you look at guys in basketball, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, LeBron James. End of the game, they want the ball. Now, do you think they are calling for the ball thinking they're going to miss the shot? No. They know they have to shoot the ball. They have to have their technique, and they've spent hours upon hours upon hours shooting thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of shots from that very spot that they're going to take the shot.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're just trying to think their way in success. But when they get the ball, they think they're going to put it in the hoop. Steph Curry, another one. I mean, exactly. They think it's going down. Yeah. And that's the difference. Now, they don't always make it. And a lot of times when they don't make it, they're shocked that they didn't make it, because that's their mindset. They have such a clear shot in their mind of it going in. Tiger Woods was that way at the top of his game. I mean, the difference between Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson, golfing-wise, was not much. Between their ears was huge. Tiger beat most people before he walked up to the tee, because he just had this insane belief that he was going to win and that he was going to make the shot no matter how difficult the shot was. And most times he did. So that's the difference. And, you take it in any walk of life, at fitness, health, exercise, relationships, business. What happens if you walk up to a girl and you say, would you wouldn't want to go out with me, would you? Versus somebody who walks up and says, hey, how you doing? Are you free Friday night? Let's go out to dinner.
And he's got the chest open and the bell bottoms and the curly hair too, right? Coming out of it. Yeah.
Well, okay, only at retro night. If not, that approach may not work. You might not be establishing the right atmosphere with your physical attire.
You mentioned that, and this is an example I used to give in my talks for years, and it was always the baseball analogy. And I always said, let's do a sports analogy here. We'll use baseball. The greatest hitter of all times, who was it? Ted Williams. He hit 400. That was the last batter to hit 400. Now, for people that don't understand what that means in baseball terms, that means that every time he went up to the plate, he hit the ball 4 out of 10 times.
No, he got a base. He got 4 out of 10 times.
4 out of 10 times.
That means he made out 6 out of 10.
60% of the time he failed.
Yeah.
And
another analogy, Reggie Jackson hit over 500 home runs, but he struck out 4 or 5 times more than he hit home runs.
Right.
And, it's like you don't hit a home run unless you swing.
Exactly. And that was the point. The point is, like, do you think that these guys – so the best hitters in the game right now are 325, 330.
Yeah.
So around that. A really good hitter in the majors is a 300 hitter, right? A 300 hitter is top of the food chain. So that means they're out or strike out 7 out of 10 times. Do you think they go up to the plate every time and go, oh, gee, I'm a 70% failure, I'm not going to take a swing? No, they take a swing. They keep swinging. So that's where I think the mentality is, the impossibilities and possibilities. It's how you look at the world. You're not going to hit a home run every time you're at bat. You're not going to. It's like, be in task. Not every single episode, which is actually the next question that we have from Tokenize. Not every single episode is going to be a knockout, but you know what? We're still going to do them. And we're going to keep, and then every now and again, we're going to have that piece of content that people absolutely love and they share. And you know,
well, but the difference with us is if we have a shitty show, it's because the question sucked and the audience.
Yeah, we totally blame the audience. Right. Yeah, no personal responsibility. Yeah.
No.
Right.
No. We're positive thinkers. It's not our fault.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's actually, Tokenize actually has, this is the question he actually asks. How many episodes of Cryptomaniacs are there? It has to be one of the longest podcasts going on Hive.
245, 248?
No, it's this will be 249.
249. So
249 or 248. So
closing on 250. Yeah, we've been at it 2.5 years. So
yeah, almost 3 years now. And yeah, we're definitely the longest running on the blockchain. There's been a few, like me and Eric Nomad Soul were talking today, and we were talking back and forth about Pensif. Remember Pensif?
Yep.
I loved his shows. I don't know what happened, but he did some really good shows, streams and stuff. But after that, I mean, CTT is up there with one of the longest running ones.
Yeah, they're only once a week, but they got about they're on 80 something. Right. They're only once a week, so they're, what's that, a year and a half?
Year and a half.
Yeah, so they're a year and a half in. Yeah, I mean, crazy. I don't know anybody else who even comes close. I mean, you've have maybe some like Splinterlands Town Hall and stuff that.
Yeah.
You know, but that tends to be very much focused. It's kind of like the Leo AMA. It's very focused on the project itself. Yeah, it's, you know, it's amazing how a lot of people don't stay committed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm approaching 2,500 videos on 3Speak. I mean, it's just consistency. And, you know, I think John and I have missed in 2.5 years 2 shows.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the, you know, the 1,000 pieces of content, you know, like it's the Roberto Blake example. You know, he said, you got to do 100 pieces of content before anyone even notices you. And then you got to do about 1,000 pieces of content before you start making a living from it. So if we're at 250, let's say, round up, and it's been 2.5 years, that means we got
a ways to go.
Got a ways to go, man.
Yeah, and you know, this is, even if we want to go into the Web 2 realm, you start looking at the statistics on Spotify. You know, you're nothing. You're non-existent before you get 100 episodes on Spotify. But you're probably not even eligible to be a player till you get 1,000 episodes on Spotify. I mean, how many does Joe Rogan have up?
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, and it's the same with YouTube. It's the same with all this stuff. If you know, you got to get thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces of content out there. And Neo's in the room. You know, Neo's taking the CTT stuff and he's hacking it up there, and there's other people involved with him, but these people are editing the videos and taking them and cutting them into shorts and stuff like that and sending it out. Yeah. And that's what's required, because you got to get thousands of pieces. He says 2,000 ish.
2,000 for Rogan. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, that's what it takes. And then, you know, Neo, how many clips are there on YouTube of those 2,000 shows? How many clips are on YouTube? Because somebody takes each show and cuts it up into 10 clips or 5 clips, because they're 3-hour shows, you know, and that's where you get the views. And, you know, you look at a Tucker Carlson, he's done like 12 or whatever episodes on Twitter. Well, if the guy sticks around on Twitter, and who knows if he will, or if he ends up setting up his own platform, but if the guy sticks around for Twitter for a couple of years, I don't know how often he releases these videos, but if he sticks around for Twitter for 2 or 3 years, he's going to have, you know, hundreds and hundreds of pieces of content. He'll end up with billions of views on his content. Billions. So John and I aren't in that realm, but we show up each week, twice a week, and we make our 2 shows. And, we invite you to come in and ask the questions. And hopefully over time, it just keeps rolling.
Yep. And finally, Tokenized wants to know, will DeFi make a comeback?
Yes.
I agree with that. I think, yeah, it's too powerful for the everyday person for it to just fade away. They'll try to kill it.
What it is it's the hype cycle.
Yeah.
It's like NFTs. I threw this on Threads and people said, "Oh, NFTs they're nothing." That's stupid. NFTs are going to be very powerful. Now, we had the Bubblicious. We had Bubblicious on the NFTs. We had Bubblicious on DeFi. You had Bubblicious on the .com. We had Bubblicious on the ICOs. The market gets insane with this stuff. But after the market pops, the builders keep building. Yeah. So DeFi is being built. The smart contracts for Hive DeFi is being built by Vaultec and VSC and Speak Network and Half. That's where we're going to get a lot of our DeFi from. So you got to watch the development because this stuff takes time, and it's just like the internet. It's like I laugh now. I see Kroger, which is one of the larger grocery chains in the United States. For those who don't know. You can sign up and pay them $5 a month and they'll deliver the groceries. Do you remember Webvan, John? That was Webvan. That was an early .com company that got jacked up to the moon because it was the idea of order your groceries online and have them delivered. Well,
yeah, we had similar services up here.
It was like 20 years too early, and it just totally bombed and went to zero and went bankrupt. And if you bought Webvan stock when it was $300 or whatever the hell it got to, you blew up in your face. But the idea was sound. It was just 20 years too early. DeFi is very sound. NFTs are very sound. We haven't even started really experimenting with NFTs. A Nomad Soul has some great ideas with NFTs based upon just the rough sketch and outline that I've heard about, talked on the AMAs. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, and DeFi is going to be a part of it because, when you have $1 trillion in value in crypto, 1.25 or whatever there is, you need DeFi services. You need ways to collateralize that. You need ways to have lending. You need all those services, and that's what's going to be built.
Absolutely. Dude, good show, man. Like, we got through everyone's questions, and it was the perfect amount, even though they were split between you and I. So, it was okay. It worked out. It was nice to be home to do a show here, but I'm pretty sure Tuesday I'll be back on the road. Heading back down to Chicago, apparently. So, back in your beautiful country, sir. So, yeah.
Just avoid the wind.
Just avoid the wind. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in once again. We will see you next week. Bring your questions to Threads. We would love to interact with you and be your entertainment for a couple hours each week. Have a great weekend, folks. Toodles.